Hello and welcome back to another video from Average FPL. Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at potential big hitters moving forward into future game weeks. For my team, I'm thinking of adding in a third big hitter to go alongside Fernandes and Salah, and we're going to look at the different options that I could get, how we're going to maybe fit them into my team in the most efficient way using the fewest transfers, and hopefully by doing that it's going to give you guys some ideas on how you could use them in your team and give a bit more analysis, a bit more knowledge to yourselves about each player. So the first player on the screen is Harry Kane. Now people think Harry Kane's head might not be in it. I think he might be thinking about the disappointment of that failed transfer to Man City. But really, if Harry Kane wants that move in the future, he's going to have to play for Spurs and he's going to have to be committed and scoring goals. You know, him as a professional footballer would want to score goals anyway. He's always been very driven to do that. And I think if he's going to be playing for Spurs, it makes him a really good option. Now, his price, although it's gone down by 0.2 million, is still really expensive for a player that hasn't had a proper pre-season. He's not been playing consistently for Spurs. So I would be inclined to give him a few weeks just to get a bit of match fitness and get a bit ready before putting him in your fantasy league team, especially because of that high transfer cost. His fixtures immediately moving forward look really good, so if you wanted to take a bit of a risk and get him in, go for it. I think he's a very underrated option that's not really being talked about right now and could potentially be a good differential. So one player who will be playing for Spurs and has been playing for Spurs is Heung-min Son. Now, he will also be involved in Spurs' goals, and he's got the same fixtures as Harry Kane moving forward, and he's about 2 million cheaper. So with that all considered, I think Son would be a really good option moving into the next few game weeks. So the next player we're going to look at is Sadio Mani. Now for me, getting in Sadio Mani alongside Salah is probably too many Liverpool assets, expensive Liverpool assets, and do I want 23, 24 million tied up in two players on the same team? Probably not. Does it make him a bad option? No. I think Liverpool's fixtures in the next few game weeks look incredible, and I think that he could provide a real return. He's really low owned, so just like Kane, if you wanted a differential early on in the season and you wanted to take that risk, go for it really. But you will have to consider the Champions League is starting soon, and he's in a rotation potentially with Jota, Firmino and Salah. So all those things considered, for my team, I'll be staying away from Sadio Mane. So we have to talk about Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, 12.5 million is way too much for me, and I understand that people will be considering him in their teams, really just for the nostalgia factor. I think if Ronaldo is playing, it makes him a great option and he'll be amongst the goals, and it's being discussed that he's likely to be on penalties as well. For me, again, the Champions League argument is starting in a few weeks. Is Ronaldo going to be playing every minute of every Premier League game, or are they going to be rotating? Are they going to be resting him, taking him off early so he's fresh for the Champions League? I would go with that. And I think 12.5 million for someone that's not necessarily, not that he's not good enough to get minutes, but he's 36 at the moment. He's going to turn 37, I think, in February. I would want my player to be playing every minute of every game. And if a game week comes along and I've got Ronaldo and 12.5 million invested in him and he's on the bench, that is a big disappointment already before a ball's even been kicked in that game week. So I understand why people are getting him in. I feel like people are going to get him in now and then realise he's probably not going to play as much and then take him out again. So Jamie Vardy, Leicester's fixtures look phenomenal. And Jamie Vardy is someone that, just like Ronaldo, although he's getting older, he's still very clinical. And Leicester are a very solid team. And I know they've got European competition as well to contend with. But I feel like Jamie Vardy gets rotated quite well. I would be concerned with maybe if he's played a few 90 minutes in a row that he probably wouldn't play the next one. But if you wanted a short-term option that could get you a few points in the next few game weeks, I'd really consider Jamie Vardy here. 10.5 million, he's almost 2 million cheaper than Kane, and those fixtures are guaranteed goals. So if you really liked these fixtures, bring him in for a few game weeks, see what happens. If he's been playing a lot in those game weeks, transfer him out again. The last player we're going to look at is the player that I'm thinking of getting in the most, and that is Romelu Lukaku. Now, Chelsea are an elite team. They started the season very well, and Lukaku is an elite scorer. Now, you might think he's also got the Champions League to contend with, but unlike the other players who are in European competition that we've discussed, he's not that old. He's in the prime of his career, and there's not too much competition either. I know he's got Timo Werner, but Timo Werner can also play out wide, and you're not going to bring in Lukaku for the price that Chelsea paid for him and not play him. The fans are going to want to see a return. Lukaku's not going to want to come in and not play. So that combined with those fixtures make me think that I have to get Lukaku in as soon as I can, and I would really recommend you doing the same. So this is my team as it stands, and what I want to discuss just to finish off with is just the potential options that I could go with and take out in order to create the funds for Lukaku. And I've got 0.5 in the bank already, and I said in a previous video that I want to take out Buendia. I still want to take out Buendia, whether it's for the cheapest midfielder possible or whether it's for a playing asset. I'm undecided right now. I also think I need to take out Kyle Walker. Now, I think Kyle Walker is a great option if he plays, but in the last game week, he started and then got taken off at half-time. And I just think if he's not even guaranteed to get more than 45 minutes when he starts, that's just too much of a risk for me. And I think I could really look at getting in. It'd have to be a playing defender, but I could save at least $1 million, if not $1.5 million. I think someone like Ben White, as Arsenal's fixtures turn around and hopefully they get a bit more solid, that would be a really good option. But we're going to discuss that in the game week preview video at the end of this week. And I'd also consider taking out Jota. I think he started a few games at the start of the season, but that rotation is ultimately going to cost him in my team. And I think there's cheaper options who could contribute just as well and are more likely to play. So they're the three players I'm considering taking out: Buendia, Kyle Walker and Jota. Now, the upgrade I'm looking to make is at Callum Wilson at 7.5. I think it saves me 1.1 million rather than taking out Ivan Toney. He's quite close to Calvert-Lewin in price, so there's not much difference in price there, but I think Calvert-Lewin just creates such a better option going forward. If you were to ask me, do I want an Everton attacker or a Newcastle attacker, you'd take an Everton attacker every day of the week, in my opinion, especially someone as clinical as Calvert-Lewin. Not that Callum Wilson's not a good player. I think if Newcastle score, he's going to be involved. But, we're talking about, could I get potentially Romelu Lukaku in? So I'm going to try and swap out Callum Wilson for him. So that's my initial plans. I'm going to do a bit more research during the week and talk about it a bit more on the preview video. But let me know what you think. Are you considering any of these big hitters coming up? Can you see any better ways that I could get to Lukaku, any more efficient ways? And yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.